Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be tasting a series of dishes that Miss Adrienne Bailon ate as a child and continues to eat now, but they are very interesting combinations. Now, if you haven't seen the original video, I will put a link to it down below, and in it Adrienne explains how as a child she came up with these recipes, and they are unusual in the fact that they kind of combine some kind of salty ingredient and an unconventional sweet ingredient. For example, number one, the one that I am most curious about, is a tuna fish sandwich that involves Hawaiian Punch. Hawaiian Punch. As a kid, my mom wouldn't let me drink anything with food coloring in it. She did not want me drinking anything with dyes. So this was the holy grail of drinks. This and Kool-Aid. Whenever I was around, I would just be, juice boxes, yes. And because of that, I've only had Hawaiian Punch a few times in my entire life. But to me, it has a very distinctive kind of guava, tropical, magical, forbidden flavor to it. So I do see somewhat the appeal of combining this with tuna fish, maybe. But is this the only size of Hawaiian Punch that's available? I went to the store yesterday to buy this. Look at this. This is 1 gallon of high fructose corn syrup, food coloring, and water and flavoring. This is crazy. This is what causes obesity in America. Okay, I will stop and put that aside. Sorry, Adrienne, didn't mean to knock your drink. So this starts off very conventionally. We've got a can of drained tuna fish in a bowl. I flaked it up a bit. Now we're gonna add some mayo. Now Adrienne's adamant about just using mayonnaise. Do not use Miracle Whip, which I don't, so I'm good. I noticed that she used a lot of mayonnaise in her tuna fish. Hers looked very creamy. I like mine kind of in the middle. I don't like it too dry, but I don't like it as creamy either. But I'm gonna make it as she made it. So that's looking pretty good. A bit of salt, a bit of pepper. So now for the interesting part of the recipe, the Hawaiian Punch. Adrienne just splashes some right in there till it becomes pink. Yeah. Yeah. This actually reminds me of some of those retro Jello recipes that I've done. If you haven't seen those videos, I will put a link above and down below as well. Those retro molded Jello recipes often include a savory and artificial fruit flavor kind of thing. I'm having flashbacks of lime Jello onion cheese mold. Those aren't exactly pleasant memories, but they're memories. Now we're just gonna take this. My cutting board is wobbly. Put that on top and cut that in half. We've got ourselves a pink tuna fish sandwich. Alrighty, so let's give the Hawaiian Punch tuna fish sandwich a taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Actually, the Hawaiian Punch flavor is not very strong. I probably needed to add more. It tastes like a slightly sweetened tuna fish sandwich. I love a simple tuna fish sandwich, and that's what this pretty much tastes like. Slightly sweetened, but I don't really taste much of the Hawaiian Punch at all. So here's where Adrienne takes this into crazy town. She takes her tuna fish sandwich and she dips it into the Hawaiian Punch, submerging this into the Hawaiian Punch so that it saturates the bread with the punch. So not only are we going to inject a lot of Hawaiian Punch flavor, we're gonna saturate our bread. It's gonna go into Soggyville. All right, here we go. Right into the, what? Wow. So, the flavor actually is not bad. That sweet Hawaiian Punch and the savory tuna fish actually is kind of a nice combination. You get the fruitiness and you definitely taste it as opposed to just splashing it into the tuna salad itself. And you've got a separation of the flavors too, because you've got the bread soaked Hawaiian Punch and then you've got the tuna fish salad in the middle. So then it kind of mixes together in your mouth. The flavors actually work pretty well for me. You've got that salty, sweet, fruity combination, kind of like when you take pineapple and ham and mix that together. I get that, and that kind of works. What doesn't work for me is the texture. The bread turns totally mushy and wet and soggy, and my Hawaiian Punch is cold, so you get this really squishy, squelchy, look at that, bread in your mouth that's cold, and then you've got the tuna fish that's kind of at room temperature in the middle. That's what's really strange for me, is that textural experience. Flavor, not bad. Texture, not so great. Let's have another bite. I could see kids really loving this dough. It kind of reminds me of Kulickles. If you haven't seen that video, I did it years and years and years ago with my sons. It's where you take whole dill pickles and you soak them in Kool-Aid. So you get this sweet, fruity combination, and of course that bright, bright color with the tart, tangy, crisp pickle. This actually reminds me a lot of that because you've got that sweet, salty, artificial, fruity thing going on. On that note, cheers to Hawaiian Punch. Oh. Wow, Hawaiian Punch totally takes me back. It still makes me smile because I never got it. Delicious flavors of tanginess, guava, fruit, tropical punchy, and red food coloring. What was just gross though is that I just drank a soggy floater of bread that was floating there because of my dunking. That was a little bit. So the next item I'm going to be making is a quesadilla. So of course we need a tortilla, just a flour one. Now in Adrienne's video she did not demonstrate how she cooked this, but she did mention mayo. So I'm going to add a little bit of mayo. So I'm adding a combination of Monterey Jack and cheddar. So continuing with the salty and sweet combination, we're now going to add slices of banana. This actually doesn't sound so weird. And just like that, our cheese is melted, our quesadilla is done. Oh, bananas are slipping out. I'm actually not a huge banana fan, as many of you know, and that's not a bad combination. The slimy kind of mushy texture of banana, which I'm not a huge fan of, even though I love slimy things like natto, goes really well with this stretchy, melty cheese. Slight sweetness and the banana flavor also go well with the cheese, which is rich and dairy. Initially it's a little bit odd, but I actually like that one. I think it's all about textures. You've got the crisp tortilla on the outside, stretchy cheese, and slightly soft but somewhat ripe banana in the middle, and the flavors work well together because you've got salty, savory, fruity, but not overwhelming. Like it. Okay, so for my last Adrienne recipe, I am going to be frying up Cheerios. So the favorite snack of all toddlers is going to be upgraded by frying it in a whole stick of butter. This actually doesn't sound so crazy, but a whole stick of butter? That sounds like a lot of butter. It's gonna make anything taste good, right? So let's see what happens. And we're just gonna melt ourselves some butter here. To our melting butter, we're gonna add a bunch of Cheerios. This is actually smelling pretty amazing. I've got that familiar oaty smell of Cheerios and that rich, luscious smell of butter. And now we're just gonna fry these up until they're golden. So our fried Cheerio snacks are done. So I'm gonna just dump them into a bowl. So the Cheerios are interesting. They've kind of shrunken up a bit as they've fried. Kind of remind me of the multigrain Cheerios because some of them are toasted while some of them are a little bit lighter. My whole kitchen smells of kind of like browned butter and oatiness. I don't know if they get crisper as they cool, but I want to taste these while these are hot. So let's give this a go. Here we go. Those are really good. They've absorbed all of that butter. And if you've ever made that before, you know that also includes a cereal, lots of butter, and usually some like Worcestershire sauce or something to make it a little bit salty and savory. But yes, this is a delicious snack. Full of butter, but very tasty. Even though this is made of oats, because it has so much butter in it, it reminds me of buttered popcorn. It makes me want to watch a movie. All right, so there are some of Adrienne's favorites. Let me know in the comments if you've had any of these flavor combinations before, or if you have any unique flavor combinations, let me know down in the comments below, and perhaps I will taste it. Alrighty, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Hawaiian Punch, I've got to go on a Hawaiian Punch.